poppin'. Let's get it poppin'. Hey, hey, hey.
Yo,
Yo, how is it going,
everybody?
everybody?
This is
This is
Justin,
Justin,
and
and
I am
I'm
here
here
with
with
my
my
cousin,
cousin,
more
more
like a
like a
brother,
brother,
Anthony.
Anthony.
Go ahead
Go
and
ahead
give
and
a
give a
little
little
introduction
introduction
to
to
yourself,
yourself,
big
big
dog.
dog.
Hey, what's up, Dollar Menu Podcast? Like you said, we're more like brothers than cousins, but I feel honored to be on here. He told me he wanted to do it. He told me I was going to be in some shows. I said, all right, bro, let's get it going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna get it. So we're doing a little pre. This is a pop up pre Thanksgiving podcast. Came out of nowhere.
Um, we got
We
a
got
new
a new
follow
follow
in
in
here.
here.
I
I
appreciate the
appreciate the
follow. Who
follow. Who
was
was
that?
that?
Um, man,
Man, who do we have here?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
So
So
Denix
Denix
Home
Home
Goods
Goods
followed the
followed the
live. We
line. We
appreciate
appreciate
that.
that.
So
So
how
how
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
do
do
this? We're
this?
gonna
We're
do
gonna do
this a
this a
little
little
different
different
than
than
we
we
normally
normally
are.
are.
We're
We're
gonna
gonna
split
split
maybe
maybe
15
15
minute
minute
periods
periods
where
where
we
we
focus
focus
on
on
whatever
whatever
topic it
topic
is
it
we're
is we're
talking
talking
about,
about,
and then
and
we're
then
gonna
we're gonna
get
get
into
into
comments.
comments.
Right?
Right?
I
I
got
got
Facebook
Facebook
open.
open.
My
My
cousin
cousin
Anthony
Anthony
has
has
Facebook
Facebook
open,
open,
and
and
we're
we're
also
also
over there
over
on
there on
TikTok
TikTok
where
where
I
I
can
can
see
see
the
the
comments.
comments.
Before we
Before
get
we get
started,
started
though,
though,
I got
I
to
got
give
to
a
give a
shout
shout
out
out
to
to
my
my
Aunt
Aunt
Kathy
Kathy
here.
here.
Come on,
Come on,
y'all.
y'all.
Come on,
Come on,
y'all.
y'all.
Come
Come
on,
Oh,
on,
y'all.
y'all.
with the freshie.
Come
Come
on,
on,
y'all.
y'all.
Hey,
Hey,
the
the
Dollar
Dollar
Menu
Menu
Podcast
Podcast
sweatshirt,
sweatshirt,
baby.
baby.
From
From
my
my
Aunt
Aunt
Kathy.
Kathy.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
be
getting in
getting in
touch with
touch with
her to
her to
see if
see
we
if we
can
can
work
work
out.
out.
Um,
Um,
we can
we can
work out
work
a
out
little
little
deal
deal
here.
here
If
if
we
we
can
can
get
get
some of
some of
these
these
Dollar
Dollar
Menu
Menu
Podcast
Podcast
shirts
shirts
out
out
there,
there,
as
as
well
well
as
as
some
some
hats,
hats,
because
because
we
we
need
need
that.
that.
Aunt
Aunt
Kathy, if
Kathy,
you're
if you're
watching,
watching,
there you
there you
are.
are.
It's
Is
that
that
going?
going?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
from
from
Anthony's
Anthony's
mic
mic
here. Let
here.
me
Let me
see.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
We'll turn that down.
yeah.
yeah.
Let me see here. There you go. It shouldn't be echoing too bad now.
It might sound cliche, but Thanksgiving's tomorrow.
Yep.
We're thankful for all of you.
You can bring it up. I turned it down.
We're thankful for everything that we have here. So we're going to talk tonight about some stuff that we're thankful for. Whether it be good, bad, ugly, life lessons learned, it don't matter. Let's talk about it. Let's get it going.
Yeah. So going into Thanksgiving here, what are talking to your mic real quick? Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So what are you going into Thanksgiving? I know this is a big day for everybody. What are a couple things you're thankful for going into it?
I think first and foremost, again, it's going to be cliche because it's Thanksgiving, but I'm most thankful for my wife, my kids, my mom, my dad, you, my brother, my nephews, my sister-in-law. Sister-in-laws, I got two of them. But it's more family. Thanksgiving's my favorite because of family. That's what it's all about for me. I've been through too many life struggles to not love my family the way that I do.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the same with me. I feel like, last Thanksgiving I was here, and then the one before that, I was obviously in Egypt, and it's interesting when you're away, seeing how much you miss the little things like Thanksgiving. Yeah, your mom can't hear you there. We'll have to balance with the echo. I gotta get a better mic for it. This
this
is the
is the
Dollar
Dollar
Menu
Menu
Podcast.
Podcast.
All
All
right,
right,
we're
we're
working on
working on
some
some
Dollar
Dollar
Menu
Menu
equipment
equipment
over
over
here.
here.
um,
um,
but
but
man,
man,
I
I
love
love,
I
I
love the
love the
family
family
aspect
aspect
of it.
of it.
I
I
feel
feel
like
like,
no,
no,
not to
not to
get to
get
the
to the
downside of
downside
it.
of
Do
it.
you
Do you
feel
feel
like
like,
I guess
I
the
guess the
spark has
spark has
kind of
kind
like
of like
dimmed a
dimmed a
little
little
bit,
bit,
or
or
is it
is it
Oh
brighter
brighter
for
man,
you?
for you?
it's they say that grandparents hold families together.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Pop Pop passed away how many years ago? 2005, and then people started moving away doing their own thing. Then Nana passed away in 2016. And it's like, man, everybody really does their own thing now.
Yeah.
Like, I bought a house in 2016, and I've been hosting Thanksgiving every year. And my mom and dad come over, but sometimes we'll go down there for something. Like, and it's hard to get everybody together.
Yeah.
And it's just the holidays are time to see your family, spend time with your family, interact with your family. And I feel like as I get older, the only time I interact with family is funerals, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see my family just at funerals.
Yeah.
I want to see my families at a family reunion. I want to see my family at holidays like it used to be. Like, me and my brother try our best to keep my mom's recipes of things going. The no-bake cheesecakes and the homemade rice puddings, and like Nana had the pierogies, and no, who does pierogies anymore?
I mean, I haven't seen nobody has doing
Nobody, man. I ain't seen a pierogi at Thanksgiving in years.
Well, so I mean,
So I guess like this, to answer your question, the spark of the holiday isn't there so much because who held it together isn't here anymore. But we all have gotten older and we try to hold it together in our own way.
Yeah.
And whether it be birthday parties or whatever, like family does get together, but not like it used to be.
Yeah.
That's I could. So for me, I feel like it's even outside of holidays. Rob, we see you in there. Appreciate you, big dog. Um, I feel like we've talked about it before with like how things are so separated. I mean, I remember being in the Plain Street house. Their big table going through two rooms. And it was a little different because we had to travel for the holidays for the most part. But when we did, it was everybody was there, and now it's like, geez, I mean, the
But again, Nana was there to hold it together.
you're right, and when after she passed, it was like, damn, we have families now, and you try to keep it together, but like you're saying, it's hard. Everybody's got their own stuff going on.
Yeah, for real.
Um,
And that's how it is. Like, how about you guys out there? Do you feel like the spark of Thanksgiving holiday is a little different, or do you still celebrate in the same way? Uh,
Gladly.
I'll let you take that from Dave or Rob Davis.
Ever since my grandparents passed away, the holidays aren't the same. I hate the holidays. Hey, Rob, you ain't gotta hate the holidays, man. You got a fiance, you got a little girl. Make the holidays what you can make it. Let your grandparents live on in spirit. Let your daughter know what your grandparents did. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, some people have it a little harder. My kids grow up in a split home. Me and their mom aren't together, so they have multiple holidays every year, and I try to do what I can for them. You got to do the same.
Yeah, you got Christy in there too.
Christy. Oh yes, I miss the big family dinners on Sunday. We see each other, but it is normally at restaurants. It is not the same, and that's why we wanted to do this tonight. We want to have a Thanksgiving special because the holidays mean something different to everyone. And as everybody gets older, the older family members pass away. The new family members that are born in are coming up. They got to learn the family ways. I remember we would all get together. It was me, you, Corey, my brother, MJ. Then you had Dylan. Lucas was born up in there, and we would all wrestle and we would roughhouse, and it's the boys being boys.
Yeah.
And then the girls would sit around and do their thing and talk about all their little gossip, whatever it was. We weren't a part of that, but like all the boys roughhouse and played football and Tiger. Man, everybody was afraid of Tiger.
Yeah. That's
he's bringing up a valuable point with going into the family. But we see, we got Kevin in there, Rob, Christy. I see Devin on Facebook, Bria, even Aunt Kathy, Michael Baines, Roseanne. Like, what do you all think? Yeah,
Bria, we love you, kid.
What do you think like kind of contributes to how split families have gotten in this new day and age? Do you think it's just and I'm asking Anthony as well, do you think it's just how society has went and how we have evolved, or is it families not keeping the internal family together?
Uh, it's hard to say because every family dynamic is different. But like I said, I try to include my brother, his wife, my nephews, my parents into everything that I do with my family. But like that's immediate family. Holidays are for extended family, I feel, and like for everybody to get together. But it is hard. It is hard. Like we have so much family members in different states.
yeah.
We have even in the state that we're in now, in Pennsylvania, there's so many of us spread out.
Yeah.
Where it's almost impossible to get together. Like we can't fret about it, but we could try our best to be family. So I mean, society as a whole makes it hard, and like when you start extended family, man, how many cousins we got?
We got a lot.
I think first cousins alone, we're on probably upwards of 30 first cousins.
Yeah.
Now we got first cousins that have kids of their own that go to second cousins. Like it's hard to get that all together. So like I can't knock anybody for not trying to get everybody together because in a family like ours, it's impossible. But
yeah, we let's see
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna go in. We're gonna touch on these topics. It's been about 10 minutes. We got a couple comments in here. We're gonna go through them. Me and Anthony will bounce back and forth. We got so Rob went back and said that his grandparents kept the family together, and now we're all divided. And that's exactly what Anthony said with our grandmother, our nana. As soon as she passed, that was like the final straw, and it kind of not that we're divided because the family we all still love each other, but bringing that glue together,
if he's watching wifey,
it's tough.
I'll see you soon.
Christy said Thanksgiving and Christmas is a big meal, but the changes on getting together more frequently is really missed. Yeah, go ahead, Holly. Go ahead, you can hit that one.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it just goes back to how extended family actually gets. I mean, like I said, we're related through our moms. So on this side of the family, I got upwards of 31st cousins. Now you extend all that, it's hard to get everybody together. It really is. Then you got like, I feel like COVID divided a lot of family holiday dynamic. Like you were can't have the big gatherings because everybody was afraid to get sick, rightfully so. You can't miss the time from work.
Yeah.
Your kids can't miss school. So like within the past 5 years, I feel like everything's gotten different.
Yeah.
And that's just like not to blame COVID as like the sole purpose of division, but like when you have something as dynamic as that illness and sickness was, like no matter where your belief is on it or where your stand is on it, people were afraid to get sick. I had it 3 times. I ended up in the hospital once.
Yeah.
So like big gatherings to me now are just like not a thing. I got 10 people coming to my house for Thanksgiving tomorrow. 10 people still a lot for me.
You're not wrong. Dave has and this is or not Dave, but Davis. This is a big one. I know this hits home with Anthony, and I know it's going to hit home with a lot of people watching, especially military viewers watching, and just anybody who spent time away. This is anybody really. He says he doesn't let Olivia see his emotions. I'll always try and make it best for her.
And I know for me that's valuable with Jaden, because I spent a lot of time away with the military.
I got out because of my kids. I knew I wanted a family and everything. And time away is hard, but now I do time away in different aspects.
Yeah.
Working, schooling for work. There's a lot of time that goes in to away from family. So that's why when you could get together, I think you got to value it. And as far as Rob not letting, man, let your little girl see your emotions. You aspire for your little girl to marry somebody that's just like daddy, right? That's how I look at my daughters. So I let them see my emotions.
I
I
think
think is it to a certain degree though?
Do you
Do you
kind
kind
of
of limit it?
Like
Yeah, it's okay to show emotions, and I show emotions with Jaden, but at the same time, and there's times I'll be driving to work, my 2 hour, 20 minute drive where I'm going through it. Like he'll never see that side. You kind of temper.
My daughters see me at my lowest. They see me at my highest, bro. Uh, my daughters, obviously, I said they grow up in a split home. They've been there through divorce to see me at my worst, where I was drinking a 30 pack and a bottle of Fireball every 2 days, and I was sacrificing time with my kids because I was drowning in my sorrows and lost my family.
Yeah.
And they've seen me at my highest, where now me and my wife, we do everything with them, for them. I'll give my last dollar for them little girls to have anything. We've taken them on so many trips, everything. So like, I don't, I don't really limit the things they see. I try to limit the way I verb everything together and like verbalize it, because they are 9 and 10. They don't need to know every aspect of dad's emotions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess to answer your question, to a degree, they do see most of it, but I do limit some stuff because I don't want them to see that rock bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
going into the comments,
Bria says the holidays don't feel like holidays anymore, but you got to try for the kids and hope it doesn't totally fall apart.
Zimmer, I love you, bro. I see you there.
Zimmer, yeah. So I got to mute these mics back and forth because we got some echo going on here. But Zimmer, Anthony says he sees you. Snow says got to show emotion, but them long drives are for what you're really going through for real. Yeah, you're not you're you are not wrong. And I Snow I work with Snow. He's actually his orders are ending soon. And it's 2 hours and 25 minutes one way.
Orders on active or orders for the military in general?
For the military, he's not getting out. So with my unit deploying, he was put on what's called OTOT orders, which it was like a temporary year-long filling for positions. So I got to get real close to him, and we vented back and forth about some things. But I want to first. We've been bumping around between 8, 9, 10 people on Facebook and TikTok. We've been holding steady here, like 2 or 3, 3,000 likes. We appreciate everybody for stopping in. I just want to stop in real quick.
To all of y'all.
Dollar Menu hoodies and shirts coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. This is from my Aunt Kathy. I know Uncle Mike, you were in there. I shouted her out at the beginning. Relax, go ahead.
What part of that hoodie did you have, Dad?
Yeah. Sit your ass back down on the couch. But I would like to get into, because I feel like this touches a little bit on mental health, right, around the holidays, because there's a lot of people, Thanksgiving, then you're flowing right into Christmas, the bills, the gifts, not seeing certain people. How do you feel like, what things do you do to kind of overcome some of those things that you run into?
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I got a daughter born in November. Then there's Thanksgiving. Then there's my birthday, middle of December. Then there's my brother's birthday, right after my birthday. Then there's Christmas. Then I got a kid born right after New Year in the middle of January. You come to my house this time of year, me and my wife are going to be stressing, boy. There is nothing that we are doing more than stressing this time of year. Birthday parties and Christmas gifts and more birthday parties, and then you got New Year, and oh man. So how I get through is just focus on the good.
Yeah.
It could be worse. I mean, you drive around downtown by the high school. There's so many homeless people out there.
Yeah.
There's so many people sitting at the soup kitchen looking for a meal, and I'm over here, all bills paid, food on the table, roof over the head, and I'm worried about gifts. I'm worried about parties where it's cold as hell out there right now.
Yeah.
And you got people without a home, huh?
Good save.
Yeah, it's cold as hell out there right now. You got people trying to just stay warm and trying to do so. I just focus on the good.
Yeah.
Like I said, my wife is my rock. My kids are my rock. Everything I do for them.
Yeah.
And I didn't learn it from nowhere. Like my parents, man, growing up to see them not so much struggle, but we were like lower middle class. To see my parents like, hey, how are we making this end meet? How are we doing this? And my dad wasn't around a lot because he was working. I was raised, me and my brother, by both of them in a solid home. But my mom taught us how to do it all.
Yeah.
And now as I'm 34 years old, my dad taught me that don't stop working.
Yeah.
And my kids, like I said, I work 6 days a week. There's times my kids go to my job with me. They're putting cars up on the rack. They want to help drain the oil. They want to run the air guns. That's their favorite. Their favorite is running the air gun. But like, I just focus on the good because it could be worse. I could be somebody at that pavilion down by Taco Bell looking for warmth and food, but I'm not that. How do you get through it?
Oh
Oh
man,
man,
I
I
mean,
mean,
everybody knows my dad. You know what I mean. He lives down the street. I haven't seen him in, I don't even know how long. So I can't really say I had him. And but my mother, for as much as we struggled through a lot, my mother did do a lot for us to keep us going. And then now, with being in the military and kind of transitioning through, which we're gonna get to those comments, everybody. We see those comments.
We see them.
Um, you know, for me, before having Jaden, and we talked about this on the first mental health episode. Before having Jaden, man, I was a disaster, and even after having him, I was a wreck. But I've gotten to the point now where, it's I refuse to allow myself to falter or fail. I refuse. It just won't happen. And then we got Brooke. You know, I can't allow and I won't allow any regression in my life, no matter what I got to do. Don't get me wrong; it's stressful. We butt heads sometimes, and sometimes I want to throw Jaden off a bridge.
Who doesn't though, bro?
You know,
Like who? I mean, let's be honest. When you have children and you are just learning each other how to live with each other, and then you bring children into it, and children are the biggest test of any relationship.
sure.
And that's not a knock at my kids, man. I will go to hell and back for my kids.
Mhm.
But I brought a woman into their life that I'm now married to. We've been together going on 8 years, 4 years married. But like, she chose to be a mom to them kids. So like, the stress of her learning how to be a mom, the stress of her learning a new relationship, all of that. My kids went on our first date. We talked and everything before then. Like they didn't meet her off the jump, but our first like official dinner, it was my night to get them from their mom. And like custody sucks. Custody battles suck. And Jess had to learn custody battle. Jess had to learn my time frame with them, and our time couldn't be together until sometimes after the kids went back. And it's like there's challenges in every relationship, whether it be you with your son, me with my daughters, you with your wife, me with my wife, me with my brother. Like, damn, my brother lives 4 blocks away from me, but he's raising his own family.
Yeah.
And Trisha, we see you watching. I love you, sis. But my brother doesn't live far from me. I don't see him all the time. You had your brother who was away for some time, where like sometimes relationships suffer.
Yeah.
And it's no fault of anybody's, but you got to keep them as solid as you can when you can. You got to have those mental people that you could talk to and be like, damn, I'm really going through it right now. And I have some of them people.
Yeah.
I have you. I have my brother. Like, there ain't. He might not answer the phone all the time. Yo, start answering the phone when I call you, bro. He don't answer all the time, but he's sure to call back if he remembers to look at his phone. But I got my mom. My mom. Oh man, that woman.
Go ahead.
I feel like my mom been to hell and back with me, going through the military, surviving suicide attempts. My brother, like, he wasn't a hellion, but he was a mini hellion.
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
yeah. So like, my mom's a warrior. So I got my mom I could call. Like I was just texting her yesterday. Yo, mom, these holidays are stressing me out. Don't worry, honey, you got this. And like that's all sometimes you need is your mom to be like, you got this. And I got my wife too, but like we're on opposite work schedules,
Yeah.
so it's like it's hard to always like be awake and want to vent to the wife when she's working till 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. Man, I'm tired.
I think that boils into. I mean, we've been talking about this for like a week and a half now, and I had just posted that status about. I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm surrounded by people that are successful and that I trust. And I got man. His name is Jesse Rudder. He's my boss in the army, but he's made a profound impact. I got my I don't see him as much as I used to, but Gata, my buddy Sanchez, my buddy McCabe. These are all people military wise, and I'm not too prideful to admit when another man has made an impact or a woman, or anybody for that matter. But it's about surrounding yourself with with good people. I got a tough question to ask you, but before we go into these questions, get into these comments real quick. Um, Zimmer had said about will it be hoodies in black? Um,
Black won't show the logo, my mom said.
yeah, I think we're gonna have to do gray. Uncle Mike, yeah, I gotta mute him back and forth. This other mic I'm doing is
Dollar menu style.
yeah, it's dollar menu. It's a dollar menu mic. Um, man, we just gotta restrict
Mariah,
it.
we see you watching. I see you, Mariah.
He said Uncle Mike said he's the press operator. I doubt it.
Yeah, right. He pressed that food in his mouth.
Zimmer said it's hard right now, and that's going back to probably the finances. And you're not wrong. Kurt May, love him. I deployed with him. He said, "What's a day? What's a day without stress, especially food, heat, holidays?" That's so true. Um, Sergeant Major McGregor's watching. Ooh, hey, we got some big bucks in here. I need some donations to get this podcast going legit. Let me get a couple dollars off y'all.
It's legit. It's legit.
But I got a question for you.
We started out in your living room. We're only gonna probably spread to your basement, but
Yeah, but that basement's gonna be all right.
listen, this is an ordinary podcast for ordinary people.
Yeah.
How many people run a podcast right now all over social media that were already established in their careers, in their lives, everything? You got an ordinary man starting an ordinary thing for ordinary people. And there's normal people that are watching right now, like us, like all of you, that are able to relate to everything we're talking about. Because the podcasts that are established of those famous people, they're not really struggling for money too bad.
Hell no.
That's their way of life.
Hell yeah.
But we're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, am I going to go grocery shopping this week? Or am I going to pay the heat bill this week?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
going through it now. You know what I mean? I'm trying to balance stuff out. But you know what you said? It's not just a man, right? Because this isn't a singular project. You know, I had a vision for this, and it's going to be a team effort. And everybody that's watching, you know, I want to start traveling with this podcast and bringing people and talking about everybody's life stories, because as I'm finding out and I'm seeing with people, this is a great way to vent and get issues off your chest. Oh, yeah. I got to restart this. When you said unalive suicide, we got that, but that's no big deal. But this is a team effort for sure, and I never want to forget where we came from. You know what I mean? And I don't think we will.
I can't forget where I came from.
But so going into that question, like I said, this is a tougher one, because around Thanksgiving you go into, you know, you start thinking about those things you're grateful for, and you know, even though it's died down, you still get around these times where you start thinking about family, which is important to us. But what at the end of the day, you know, when your time is done, what do you want? You know, let's start with your kids. What do you want your kids to think of you? What do you want your wife to think of you? And then just your family in general. You don't have to pinpoint everybody, but those three things. I know this is a big thing. I know it's a big thing for me. But how do you want them to view you? You know, even though you make all the sacrifice, you're away a lot. You're grinding. You might not be able to provide everything you can all the time. But at the end of the day, when it's your time, what is a success to you?
Oh man, well,
yeah, you know, we bring them heavy hitters.
My end of time is what keeps me awake at night. Did I do enough this day? Did I do enough yesterday? Did I do enough last year? Am I gonna do enough going forward? Mm-hmm. So like my end of time is my biggest stressor, my biggest worry. I fear nothing but my end of time.
Yeah.
So if it was to happen now, it would be brutal. Like, would Jess be able to carry on without me? Would my kids be okay? But if it happens at normal time in life,
yeah,
as long
what's the success for you? Like, what's like if you were to jump into their brain?
If it's to be at a normal time in life, because it happens to everyone, you know. But my success would be counted by did I help my children accomplish everything they set out to accomplish?
Yeah.
Are my children in happy relationships, marriages, whatever it might be? And are my children set up to succeed?
Yeah.
Because if my children did not succeed, my oldest aspires to be an orthodontist. She's been playing with teeth since she knows how to open my mouth and reach in.
Mm-hmm.
So she aspires to be an orthodontist. And did she reach that success? Yeah. Did she reach that goal? Is her home happy? Is she able to afford everything she needs in her home? And Mackenzie as well. Both of them. Did they both accomplish their goals, set out to... Were they David and Goliath, and did they come out on top in this life, in the David and Goliath cliche?
Yeah.
So as long as my children have everything, and my children have reached their goals to some capacity, I'm successful.
Yeah.
And that's, if we look at our parents, I'm sure I could say both my parents are proud of the men that they raised.
Yeah.
And they're very proud of the hard workers we are, the fathers that we are, the husbands that we are. So if I think about like the end of time coming for any person individually, I would think like my mom and dad could sit and say, we raised those boys and we are successful in what we've done. So like that would be my success. Did my children make it out on top? What about Jaden?
You know, so for me, it's tough, and I got Sergeant Major McGregor popped in. We got Kurt in here. We're gonna get to these comments. We see these comments. We'll get to them in 1 second here. We got Kurt, couple military guys in here.
Ronnie's here.
Yeah, I know. My man sold me the house.
Ronnie, we still love you, Ronnie.
Ronnie sold me my house, man. I'm blessed to have dealt with Ronnie.
On Thanksgiving, he's thankful for you, Ronnie.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But with the military side, everybody, we got people that are deployed. Yeah, we're doing good here today. We appreciate it all. We have I got a bunch of people that I know that just came back from deployment. A bunch of them have kids. I've deployed twice. My first one, I didn't have a kid, and now I have Jaden, and I just deployed. And I'm sure I'm going to get another one here in a couple years. I might get a couple more if I stay AGR. Yeah, well, they pay me great, so I can't complain. But it's the time, and I drive 2 hours and 20 minutes to work, and I stay there a couple nights a week, as you know. But at the end of the time, for me, or at the end of my time, I think, a success to me is, even though I had that time away, I just hope that Jaden understands that I did miss a bunch of moments. I did miss a lot of time, but it was all for him. Because, the success for me is knowing that Jaden has changed my life. Again, don't get me wrong, kids, he's a kid, pain in the ass, you know how it is. But he changed my whole trajectory from I was and driving all the time. When I was in Bloomsburg, I was getting reckless. I hit my low patch when a couple people have passed away. And as long as Jaden knows that, one, he helped me become a better person, and two, that the time away that I do spend, it's not because I want to, but it's because I need to give him a better life. As long as he can say that to me on my deathbed, man, that to me is a success.
I'd like to say, Tom Hawksley, go Pack, go.
No.
Amber, we see you in there. I love you, kid. Adam, see you. Sydney, we see you. My dad, we're very proud of both of you and Ryan. You guys are hardworking, love your kids and wives the way you should. You both are doing your mom and I proudly. That means a lot because I just said before he wasn't around a lot.
Yep.
Worked. Somebody, yo, Mike, I need this fixed. Boom, out the door.
Yeah, we can go into that too.
Mike,
before we go into that.
Oh, I mean, mine didn't go get milk and not come back.
Yeah, my dad's still at the grocery store. He lives up the street, yo. That's crazy.
It was Mike, your brothers are fighting. He's got to go run and break that fight up. Mike, my car is broke. I got to go fix that.
Let me shout him out real quick.
So we got a guy on
TikTok. His name is Dayton.
His father's name was Mike. He unfortunately passed away.
Dayton, you've been following my lives and stuff for a while now. You've been a big supporter. We're coming into Thanksgiving and going to be going into Christmas. And like I said before, you're a young man. If you ever need anything, make sure you reach out. You reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. That's what we're here for. It's Dollar Menu.
That's what this is for.
That's what we're here for.
For ordinary people.
Yep.
Ronnie said that his success for him is to have been a great dad. Period. And that seems to be the sentiment among most parents and men. Huxley, F the pack.
Nah, you wrong.
Yeah, my Uncle Mike said I should think back and think about how much of a pain in the ass you were. Whoa. I think we got to block this guy.
Who's that? Who we blocking?
That's your dad. Uncle Mike.
Oh, man. You out of here. Get going.
I will come over there and steal your tires right now. Man.
And this is everybody that's watching.
We're trying to bounce back. We need a better way to read these comments.
That's all right.
But everybody that's watching, Thanksgiving and the holidays, it's a tough time. Please don't be afraid to reach out to. You can message the Dollar Menu on Facebook, TikTok, wherever, or you can message me directly. I know Anthony. He's not just a guest. He's a part of this brand that we're trying to build. This is a big group, right? So this is always going to be like rotating. But the people that you see on here, one of the biggest things for me is that they're willing to help. This isn't always going to be a mental health type deal, but it's passionate to all of us.
Right. Look at this. This is what we're thankful for. This is Thanksgiving, but I mean, I go back to I'm thankful for everything I've been through, every life experience, the people I've lost, the people I've gained. The people that have passed away, the people that are born. Everybody's taught me a lesson. I'm thankful for every lesson I've ever learned. And listen, you can't really say you lost at anything if you learned a lesson. Because as long as you learned a lesson, be thankful that you learned that lesson because you won no matter what. I've learned many lessons. I've been divorced. I've started from the bottom. I've learned that I'm capable of a lot more than I ever gave myself credit for. And I'm thankful for every bit of that.
I don't know because we got Aunt Kathy and Uncle Mike in here watching, and I got to think, so growing up, I mean, when I was up, I was pretty much always over my Aunt Kathy and Uncle Mike's house, and they dealt with me for days and days on end. So they were like separate, like second parents to me. A little pale, you know what I mean? The skin complexion didn't match, but it's okay. They were just aunt and uncle, whatever. So I got to thank them as well because I was able to see, again, like I had a broken home. My dad, I didn't have the benefit of seeing people together.
A real family dynamic.
Yeah, and the fights that Uncle Mike and Aunt Kathy may have had and the beef, whatever may have happened in their time, they always showed love to everyone. Anybody that was in that house, they always showed love.
Yeah. I had a best friend, 22 years. He didn't have horrible parents. I still talk to them to this day. Nobody has a landline phone, but I'll recite their landline. I had a friend that didn't have a birthday party when he turned 16. My parents threw that boy a sweet 16 right in our home.
Yep.
Had all his best friends, his sister, everybody there. And unfortunately, I miss him. We're not friends to this day like we were. Life happens. You grow apart. But, I always have love for him and always remember everything that we've done for each other. Yeah. And, I mean, my parents love everybody. I mean, everybody that ever entered our home was like, hey, you get some food. Hey, you get a drink. Hey, you get to go swimming. But they kind of had chores in the house, too, to earn their keep. Hey, I was doing this mess a little bit. Oh, yeah. Don't step on the vacuum or the carpet after my mom ran the vacuum. No, never did that.
But I think it's important, though, Aunt Kathy, Uncle Mike, we don't get together as much as we used to because that's just how life is working. and Anthony said it. He loves you, but I love you to the end of the world and back. Um, the new thing these days is giving people their flowers and stuff like that. Um, but for what it's worth, at the end of the day, coming from me and your son, you know, I hope that every night you can go to sleep knowing that you have made a profound impact on my life, obviously your son's life, but it wasn't. You weren't just an aunt. You weren't just an uncle.
Dude, I'm built like my dad. Look at me.
Well, he's my boy's the Michelin man over there. But you have made a profound impact on my life, and I the lessons that I have learned from you, I will carry on. Um, and I think that's a big thing going forward is acknowledging people in your life that make those impacts.
Yeah, that goes for more than just parents. I mean, I have
Think about those friends.
I got friends that it's Dave. Everybody knows Dave. That's my best friend. 22 years now. We roll deep.
yeah.
I've seen him at his absolute bottom. He's seen me at my absolute bottom. Divorce.
Yeah.
I've seen everything there is to see with Dave. He's seen it all with me, and I he's a brother. You're my cousin. You're like a brother. You've seen it all. Uh, you gotta appreciate people, and it goes back to every relationship has challenges, but like you have to. I mean, at the end of the day, those are the relationships. Those are the people that you rely on. I feel like, and my wife is a warrior, man. I'm not easy to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not easy to deal with, and my wife's a warrior. She works 3 jobs. She's out of the home a lot, but she makes sure to everything she's doing for our family, and that's I mean, she's a great woman.
So going into those, I'm not easy to deal with. That's a big thing to admit, like self-admittedly. And I'm not actually going into what that's personal life. But do you think that you have gotten to a point where you've been able to admit and talk to yourself in the mirror, that self-reflection on, I do this wrong or I don't do that the best way or dang, I jacked that up. Do you think that's valuable? Have you gotten to that point, or like how do you view yourself? I guess is what I'm getting at.
I mean, I could tell myself that I messed something up, but I could also tell myself that I didn't mess something up.
Yeah.
Um, I just talked about a friendship I don't have anymore. I didn't mess that up. I had an ultimatum, my wife for that friendship, and I chose my wife, man. Like that's my babe. That's my best friend. So
Do you think that though? So 23 years. Do you think I couldn't imagine you giving me an ultimatum about something. You know what I mean?
That's not a friend.
Yeah. Do you think that?
My dad been there.
Yeah.
My dad had to pick my mom or his best friend.
Yeah.
He picked my mom.
Yeah.
Thankfully he did because I'm here. But I mean, I could. I guess I could have self discussion. I know a self worth. I know what I'm capable of doing. But like, this is the time of year at the holidays where you look back and say, the people around me are here because I'm a good person. The people that aren't here aren't around because they might think I'm a bad person, or deep down inside they realize they're a bad person and done me wrong, done you wrong,
Yeah.
done somebody wrong. And I've forgiven a lot of people. I don't forget. But I could look back at myself and say, I am the man that I expect my daughters to want to be with when they're older.
Yeah.
And I'd be proud of the man that they ended up with if he was like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I could look at myself and reflect back and forth.
So, and as for me, for the longest time, I was afraid to kind of look in and admit my own wrongdoings, and I didn't really want to admit where my faults were for the longest time. And then as I've grown, and again, Jaden helped with that. Really, it was after Goosen and Tommy both passed away. Um, you know, I, just a lot of stuff changed. I still wasn't who I wanted to be. I'm still not who I want to be. I still want to be better.
Are we ever?
No, never. And if, I feel like if you feel like you've gotten to where you're at, you're kind of failing yourself. But we've been talking about this a lot, about like people that are in your lives, and you know a lot of people. I know.
We just went to New York not long ago, and I'm a mechanic. I go to school to perfect that craft, learn more knowledge. I ran into one of my teachers in New York City, Times Square, millions of people. My wife looks at me and goes, Are you kidding me? I can't go anywhere and not know somebody. My kids to this day, everywhere we go, it's a small area where we're at. I mean, it's big enough, but it's small. My kids are all, Dad, you know somebody everywhere. And my message to them is, you better recognize that, and everywhere you go, at least know people know you're my kids. Your back is watched too.
Yeah, and the thing with that is, you've had a lot of close people as well, and I'm dealing with this where you're around people that are. I want to be around successful people, man, and I want the people that are close to me to be successful. I've talked to Josh. I don't know if Josh is on here watching, um, but I've talked with Josh. He was going through his own little thing. I won't put his business out, but like I want him to be successful. Um, my brother just got out of jail, as everybody knows that's watched. I want him to be successful. I want him to get back in his kids' lives. Um, Dave, Dave, I want Dave to be successful. There's all these people that I want to be successful, because if they're trying for themselves and they're surrounding themselves around us, that's just going to push me to be a better person. And I feel like you know, a lot of people need to self reflect. You know what I mean? I feel like some people, and I'm not calling anybody out, but I think that a lot of people need to self reflect and be honest with themselves.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, I feel like, all right, so my parents raised me and to be the person I am. But I grew up quick joining the military. I was a dad fast. I was a husband fast. I did everything real quick. I bought a house quick. I was 26 years old, owned a house, 3 cars. Uh, was married, had the two girls, and I feel like there's a lot of people that entered my life because I was able to manage money well. I was succeeding at everything I did, wanted to do, had every goal I set out to do, and people used me for that benefit. People used me to build themselves, and then when they got to where they wanted to be, where are these people at now? I don't have all them same people, and I don't feel sorry for myself. I don't knock them for not wanting to surround themselves with me anymore, because I'm gonna be honest, I don't want you to surround yourself with me. I want you to go out and adventure the world. My kids at 9 and 10 have seen so much stuff that 9 and 10-year-olds in most cases haven't seen, that I don't want you to surround yourself with me. I don't want to surround myself with you. And that's not to be bitter. That's not to be speak myself up higher. That's not to belittle anybody. It's just I want to be the reason that somebody says, I saw the picture of where you were at on that trip. I desire to do that. I see the remodeling project you did at your house. I want to do that. I see the new car that you may have just bought. It was new to you but used, but I aspire to do that. I want to be the reason that somebody could say, I want to go do that. But I also don't want to be the reason that somebody fails. Like, everybody's situations are different. I mean, everybody knows I lost everything when I got divorced. I lost my, at the time she was my wife. I lost my kids. I had to fight to be a dad. I've done a lot of stuff, and I've grown a lot from it. And I sat and I watched. I don't know if he ever watches, but Uncle Bing. I sat and watched everything that Uncle Bing went through. That was He's my hero in life. Everything that man stood for is everything I aspired to do. Everything I drove to do. And eerily enough, I've walked a very similar road. I've walked a very similar road, and still to this day, uh, I aspire to be Uncle Bing, because look at the success he has. Look at everything that he's lost and had to rebuild. Everything that he's gone through and had to rebuild. And I've been very similar. I've had to rebuild plenty of times. So I guess my message in this is like, if I can do it, you can do it too. Like, sure. I've started over. I've been at rock bottom. I've had nothing. And thankfully, go back to my parents. They've always been successful enough and always been mindful enough that, like, even as a grown man, that's still my son. Let me help him where I can. And I'll never be able to repay them. I'll never be able to give them back everything that they gave me. But if I could give them, a happy me and a happy daughter-in-law and happy granddaughters, then I gave them back the most I could.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
think for
think for
me,
me,
going into it is I'm going to start holding people accountable that are in my life. And it's up to them to take it how they want. And it's not speaking down or anything. And I think everybody needs to do that. You got to find those people that you're close to, like me, you. If you start doing something a little out of pocket or whatever, all right, well, I need to hold you accountable. I think that I've gotten to a point, and a lot of people have, with the people in their lives where um, you don't really hold people accountable in your life. They can bring something to you or say they did this or that, and you don't really say nothing about it. You're just like, okay, whatever, no big deal. But then they fall down a hole and start spiraling out of control. But I think that as adults, as men and women, as family members, as close friends, I think you have to sometimes face those tough things head on and hold people accountable.
And accountability's hard.
yeah,
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But sometimes accountability is not an easy thing to say. Hey, I messed up. I have to be accountable for what I messed up. But if you could find yourself admitting to where you went wrong, you can now focus on being the better person, being in a better outcome, having a better situation.
yeah,
And accountability is huge with a lot of people. Like, we live in an area that predominantly is known for partying and tipping back bottles, and
yeah,
uh, that's what everybody's go-to is. And I've been there, done that. So I'm at 33, going on 34 years old, able to say that, like, I've had my fair share of all that. Now it's time to be accountable for my daughters.
yeah,
I now have to raise two little girls to be successful in a very cruel, sick world where if I don't teach them how to navigate through this, then I set them up for failure. I also pride myself in my wife and I working very hard to let them also see the world.
yeah,
Like I said, they've been to California, they've been to Lake Tahoe, they've been to New York, they've been to uh, New Jersey, they've been to Maryland, they've been to as far north as Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Hampshire, they've been to Boston. Like, so I find myself being accountable for every situation I put them in. And the situation that I want them to be in is to realize there's more outside of this.
yeah,
If they want to move west and want to go live in Colorado and establish life there, please do it. Give me a reason to visit. But there's more outside of this. Uh, Even for this little man, like he could get outside here too. Start seeing the world, see things, and know that there's more than just this. Like, terrible area, but it's there's more to it.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Let's go to these comments here real quick. We got a lot of love within the family here. Um, Dave said he loves you guys today. Dave, we love you too, man. We love you too, big dog. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Um,
Yo, let me make a call real quick.
um, Man, my computer just stroked out here. Anthony's got to make a call here real quick. What in the world is going on here? Um, what in the world is going on? Computer stroking out. Man, this is I love seeing all the love that we've gotten in this. Um, and I'm glad that we did this little pop up episode here. I'm real glad we did this. Um, it's about that time we're hitting the hour mark here on this pre Thanksgiving.
All I gotta do is get a turkey and. Hey, mom, I'm keeping your rice pudding recipe going.
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
trying to
trying to
build my
build my
own
own
recipes
recipe
here.
here.
I gotta do the turkey. I gotta do the rice pudding. I the wife's gonna do some sweet potato pie, sweet potato casserole, green bean casserole. We're gonna do it, but like I just want I this is my first time on here. It surely won't be my last. I'm proud of everything that Jay has set up on this. Um, as you see, family sticks together this time of year. Um, I want everybody to know how thankful I am for allowing me to take an hour of your time. And I want everybody to know that it gets better. You could always have worse. Yes, you could have always have better, but don't focus on the negative. This time of year is stressful to everybody, but realize that you do have family. You do have friends that do love you. And I'm sure I'll be tagged in the replay video, and all you got to do is click my name and message me and say, hey, I watched that podcast that you were on, and you really struck some chords. Can I talk with you? I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. I'm more than willing to talk to anybody because, like I said before, I've gone through life experiences that have molded me to the person I am. And just know that you aren't the only one going through whatever struggle you might be having. This time of the year, again, is very stressful on money, uh, on family, on friends. Uh, just keep pushing forward. It's you got people out there, and I'm here. Jay's here. Dave, Bria, you guys met them in other episodes, but like, reach out. If you're not comfortable and you can't talk to somebody that's close because you're afraid of judgment, I don't know, probably half the people on TikTok that are up in there, and even the people on Facebook. Like, I know a lot of you from life experiences, but life has happened and we've gone distant in a lot of cases, so I don't really know you. Don't be afraid of judgment. I'll talk with you. Jay will talk with you. Yep. Dave and Bria, they'll talk with you. I mean, I think out of the 4 people y'all met, the most recent, I think Bria's probably had the biggest, like, obstacles to overcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's a great mother. She's a great sister. She's a great cousin. We love her to death, and we're all 4 of us so far. And you guys will meet more people along the road that are here. And if Jay gets us on the road, hey man, I'm down for road trips.
We can travel.
I'm down for road trips. I just have to be weekends. Yeah. I can't miss that time from work. My kids need my money.
No, it'll be a weekend.
So yeah, Aunt Kathy says to go longer. Aunt Kathy, I need to cook everything, so I can't stay on. I have to at least prep. Uncle Mike said, "Where you got to go?" Well, I don't got to go anywhere except to the kitchen. That's where I got to take my hat black ass to. But Anthony closed out there. I'm going to hit my little closing statement. Again, I'm always going to stress big on mental health. Again, there's a lot of people that have deployed that popped in and out of here. If you're in here through the holidays, please reach out if you're going through anything. I'm always here. Even if you haven't deployed, you're not military, whoever, always reach out. The Dollar Menu Podcast and everybody involved with it, that's like a priority task of them is to I'm not saying they can give up all their time, but be there to lend an ear. But on that note, I'm Justin here with the Dollar Menu Podcast.
I'm Anthony.
And we want to wish you a great Thanksgiving. And move into a great Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And the Packers better beat the Dolphins tomorrow.
We're going to do a sports podcast so we can go ahead and get some of this out of here. My son unplugged the mouse here. But you all take it easy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Have a good night. Have a good day. Appreciate you joining us. Oh, and last time I'm going to say this here. It won't be the last time. I'll be saying it a lot, but on the podcast. The Dollar Menu Podcast sweater. We're going to get some hats coming soon. My Aunt Kathy made this for me. So I'm grateful for this. We got our first little piece of merchandise here. If you're interested in a Dollar Menu sweatshirt, they'll be white. They're going to start off white until I can alter the logo to get it to look better on black. Please send me a message or leave a comment. And we'll slowly with my
my
aunt,
aunt,
and
and
we'll
we'll
figure
figure
this
this
out.
out.
We'll start getting some stuff to you. But
But
we
we
will
will
see you
see you
later.
later.
Again,
Again,
appreciate you
appreciate you
joining
joining
us.
us.
Have a
Have a
blessed
blessed
night.
night.